Hello viewers, Super GT here, back on Gran Turismo Sport. And here we are with the Subarus. I've gone for the one make race of the day. So one make, one car, and one massive punt off at turn one, presumably. We're about to find out if that's going to happen at Autodrome Lago Maggiore, the West version. Probably my favourite track in the game. How about that? Let's see how it goes then. 8th on the grid. And yes, we're all driving the Subaru WRX. It's the rally car, but the road version of it. So, interesting stuff. And there is the punt. I've been punted. And unfortunately, we have a knock-on effect where the innocent Portuguese guy comes off worst. But I do get up to 5th as a result of the general argy-bargy around the second corner. So 8th to 5th, not bad. Although admittedly one position was as the result of that big rear ending. But, well, it wasn't our fault, so we just continued with the race up the inside of an interestingly named P-Wax. And I'm well up the inside, all over the curb. The fin just up ahead is going massively sideways, trying to do a Scandinavian flick on a straight. And I get poor momentum up the hill. The German's going to go past as a cone comes flying back down to earth. And into the last couple of corners. It's going to be very, very close through here. As you'd expect, really, on lap 1 in a one-make race. It's always going to be like this. In the one-make races, everyone's very even. It's purely down to driver's skill, or in many cases a complete lack of skill, as we apex the final corner onto the main straight. The guy behind very wide, so hopefully enough of a gap to him to not have to worry about getting rear-ended here. Into turn 1, I sense a bit of contact with the Frenchman and the Finn up in 3rd. But the position is going to stay the same. I just go on the throttle a little bit too early and kind of sort of side shunt the German. So I'm just going to back off, let him go ahead. Where's this Brit going to rejoin? Just behind. I couldn't quite see him because annoyingly you can't really move the camera sideways. So I couldn't see exactly where he was. Although I could have looked at the radar, I suppose. So now eventually tucking into that slipstream. And eventually pulling alongside into the banked corner. Once again, clearly opting for that mega cut line. But we are through up into 5th place. And the German now swarming all over me. Can we, though, work together, ideally, to catch back up to this battle? 2nd and 3rd are right on each other. And hopefully if they start fighting, we're going to start gaining on them. And that seems to be the case. As we round out the second to last corner. I suppose this actually here is the second to last corner. We're just going to skip ahead here to the group up ahead. So this is P-Wax in 4th. The guy ahead of him just gets a big slide on and comes back across the track, and he's forced him into the pit lane, and the Finn has gone into the barrier at the edge of the pit lane. Let's have a look at that again. So the Finn drifts off, spins to the left, forces the Frenchman into the pits, and then the Finn goes into the barrier at the edge of the pit lane. So I've gained 2 positions out of that, and I don't think I've ever seen that before. That was actually quite an entertaining little moment. So gone up into 3rd place, and this is the 3rd lap, and it's a quite short race actually, 4 laps in total, so only about 6 minutes in total length for the race, and we're looking at roughly 1 minute 30 lap time, so yeah, about 6 minutes. And actually, yeah, I think the best laps I did in qualifying for this would be a mid 127, although the best names on my friends list have been doing 126s, mid 126s, so I'm still a second off, quite frighteningly, and so clearly I have quite a way to go in terms of overall raw pace. But my race pace seems to be okay here. We do have, looking at it, a 1.8 or 1.7 second gap to the Frenchman in 2nd. So I suppose with a gap like this, and we have a 1 second gap behind. I just need to try and put in a good lap. Basically, you might as well just practice exactly how to take this lap the best you can, and take that forward into the next race. So we're going to cross the line. Let's see if we can catch up with this Frenchman. Go looking for the 100 board. There it is, braking on that. And then you can take plenty of curb. I've just grazed the curb this time. You do have to be really early on this corner and take lots of that curb on the inside. The wider you go on a sharp, long corner, you're just going to be losing time for days. So that's quite a crucial corner, is turn 2. Winding through the chicane onto the back straight. It's a big straight here, and probably one of the most important ones, because you do have the very big overtaking opportunity at the end of it. I'm not quite close enough this time around to go past into second place, but I do have still well over a second now to 4th. So it looks like it's going to be, at this rate, an 8th to 3rd, a gain of 5 positions, which isn't too bad. Over 4 laps, that's not too bad at all. Can't complain about that kind of return. So winding out this kind of double apex corner, I treat it as one long corner with sort of a breather halfway through it, and then going down the hill into the final corner. Very, very tricky one to get right. Apex early, and then you have to get on the throttle early too. You can perhaps use a bit of the tarmac runoff to help you with the accelerator. Over the line then, setting a 27.6, so not too bad a lap time, about 2 tenths off the fastest in the race. The Italian winning overall with a overall time just shy of 6 minutes. And there it is then, 5 positions gained, not too bad at all. Pretty happy with that, if I'm honest, as our first race out. Here is the second race, and yes, this guy seems to have caught on with the banter. I'll do my best. I'm a beginner, so good stuff there. Race number 2, 5th on the grid this time. So if I can go up another 5 positions, I'll be in 0th position, which clearly isn't a thing, but we'll give it a go. Now, no punt this time, although this Swiss is just going to go to the back of the Brit in 3rd. I'm going to look around the outside. This is a decision you have to make, and I kind of back out of it. So, I mean, I had a run. I could have gone around the outside, but sometimes you just got to really think, is it worth putting yourself on the outside of that kind of corner? Because he's just going to run me wide, and I'll lose even more. Sometimes by trying to gain something, you can lose even more if you get it wrong. So sometimes just backing out at the right time, knowing when to back out, is very crucial. The Finn just punts the Swiss guy a little bit wide. He's going to go up the inside of me. I'm going to get a nice cutback though. So that the Finnish guy, we saw him in the previous race. He was the one who went into the end of the tyre barrier. So he's looking to have something resembling better luck in this race instead. So up the inside. Now it looks like I was very awkward and kind of shoved him wide, but I'm not seeing an SR rating banner come up, so I don't think I actually made contact. It just looked very coincidental that he kind of slid at the exact moment that I oversteered. So I think we're good on that one. Up into 4th, we are being swarmed now by the Finn up behind as they try to catch up with our fellow Brit, with 2 Frenchmen in 1st and 2nd. Well, I say Frenchmen, but they might be women, you never know. Or they might be the genderless aliens, you just can't quite tell. All we can specify is that they are from France. That is all we know at this current time. So around this lovely right-hand corner, very easy to run wide on the exit. Haven't done that on this occasion. So this is going to be a bit of team play here, if you like. I'm just going to pull up to the back of the Finn. I'm just going to bump him on. I'm going to kind of bump draft him, basically giving a message that, look, let's work together. Let's catch up with 2nd and 3rd here. There's no point in fighting now. It's only lap 2. Let's work together, catch up with 2nd and 3rd, and then hopefully we can both get through and then fight for 2nd, because that's obviously better than 4th. So it's well worth doing. So coming through here, I get a very good run. I think he gets the hint that I'm right behind him, and he goes slightly defensive, not too bad though. And then through the long double right, first apex done, out wide, and then come back for that 2nd apex. Nicely done once again. The fin a little bit all over the place, but I do sense that we have gained on this lap to the battle for second. First place is doing very well at the moment to kind of just break free completely. So second might be the best we can do here. It's a very short race once again, and just how it goes on lap 1 can really be very important indeed. So if someone can get a very good run on lap 1 and, you know, just get and build up a 1 or 2 second gap very quickly, then there's not much you can do often, because a lot of the time you are fairly evenly paced with the fast guys at the front. So reeling someone in who's a second ahead can be really hard in only 3-4 laps. So then this battle for second has become a 4-way, so that teamwork, that working together has clearly kind of worked. I could have battled with this guy, we could have fought over that 4th place, but we would be a lot further behind. The Finn just punts on the Brit, and then I'm going to give him a bit of contact, but I'm going to go through up into 4th behind the fellow Brit now. And as a result of that little debacle there at the hairpin, the Frenchman in second has just extended that gap. The 2 French genderless aliens just pulling away, or unspecified genders beings have began to pull away at the front of the race. They are doing very well in this one. So I'm going to look to get the upper hand on my fellow Brit coming down the hill into the final corner on the circuit, hitting the apex nicely. Out wide, the French in second, running slightly wide, although I don't think loses too much time. Into the slipstream, I'm going to pull out to the inside, get a bit of a run, and on the brakes it's going to be a clean move up the inside into 3rd place. Can we repeat the first race and follow it up with another 3rd, another podium? That would be a good result. Obviously not as many positions gained on this one, but still it's good to go forwards, and you just never know. Let's say like the strength of the field, I might be beating better drivers here compared to the previous race. It's hard to tell exactly always, but you know, always pleased just to at least move forwards, and getting on the podium is always a good job. Into the hairpin, the amazingly banked corner, down into 2nd gear, and then using the camber to really help you round. The Finn's made a very big mistake. He's made it 2 out of 2. That is a combo that he will not want to repeat. 2 out of 2 incidents in 2 races, 2 consecutive races have not gone well for him at all. But never mind that. That is his problem. As we come out of the 3rd to last corner through the 2nd to last corner, just a very gradual left leading into the downhill section before the final turn, hitting the apex nicely and running out wide. I do sense that I was catching up on that lap. Let's see what the lap time is. The Finn actually with the fastest lap at the moment, 27.2, proving their speed, and it's a 27.3. So not bad. That's actually a very good lap time, and only 1/10 off the fastest in that race. So once again, another 3rd position, another podium, up by 2 positions in that one. And we're going to move on to a livery here, because I decided to go for something different, go for this Milky Way livery, which will hopefully spur me on to victory. And then I go and contemplate my life on the edge of this cliff, just wondering how the hell can I get that 1st place. But here we are, there's my lights flashing. I've gradually moved up the grid order, 3rd place in this one, so a bit closer to the front. I started 8th in the first one, started 5th in the second one, starting 3rd this time. So can we go about getting that elusive victory in the 3rd race? They do say 3rd time lucky, and we shall see on this occasion if that proves to be true. Through the 2nd corner, hitting the apex very well, hoping that our chocolate bar livery will power us on to victory. Down the hill, onto the back straight, immediately the Italian tucking into that slipstream. He wants to be right onto the tail of the Spaniard. The Spaniard moving over to the right hand side. He's going to go fully defensive. He knows the threat is coming, and he's going to block it off. I'm going to go right up into that slipstream too. Just I've got a choice here. I can go left, I can go right. The Spaniard's going to keep the insides, and I'm going to get a nice run coming out of the corner. He's just going to move slightly to the right, a bit of contact, And then into the chicane. I'm expecting him to slot in just ahead. And yes, there he does. You've got to be careful again, as I said earlier. You've got to be careful to put your car alongside at the right kind of places, because people will just run you wide if you put your car alongside in some places. So sometimes it's better just to not do it. So second place. Can we go one better? We have 3 more laps to do it. And you can see he's gone very defensive. So it's surprising in a way, because that's not really a corner you can lunge at, and it's going to put him on the back foot into the first corner instead. So I have an arguably better chance now. Into the first corner, goes defensive. I look up the inside, and he does go very deep. I'm going to go up the inside into first place. Coming through the second corner, he's just going to punt me wide, and then on the exit, for good measure, just shove me wide onto the grass, just to make sure that he does get back into the lead. So a very dirty move from this guy, with the punt wide and then the push wide onto the grass, just to get back into the lead. Okay, fair enough. We won't forget that. As he swerves right across, this guy is hell-bent on defence. As we come down the hill, over the crest, down the hill, into the hairpin for the second time. And he's on the inside. There's nothing I can do. That was a fair enough defence. The Italian trying to get in on the act, but I just rebuffed that attempt and keep second place up the hill into the first apex off the chicane. Easily flat out in these cars at 120 miles an hour. I'm going to look up the inside, make him go defensive. That's the good thing about someone that you will know goes defensive. You can kind of trick them into it. He's given me the run on the exit into the second apex, and then I'm going to do him a favour here. I'm going to punt him a little bit wide and just not really let him back onto the track. So I call that even. You have been totally dealt with there. I call that 1-1 basically. I think that's fair enough. If you want to punt me wide, I can play you at your own game and match you. I have plenty of rammer experience. Over the line, into the braking zone of turn 1, and wow, okay, he's going to come out of nowhere, shove me wide. I'm not having that. I'm going to shove him back. I even get a penalty for that, and well, I think it's a penalty worth taking. So we call that 2-2 now. It's turning into a football match between the Spaniards and the Brits. So there's the gap. The gap has opened up slightly to the angry yellow card Spaniard, and he's actually gone very defensive against his fellow Spaniard. We just had a brief look behind, so he definitely does not want anyone coming past. He's not very happy about not being first place. So at the moment he's got a very big problem in the shape of F4H Super GT to deal with if he doesn't like not being in first position, and he only has about a lap and a quarter to try and do something about it. So I've just got to keep my cool here and wind down 0.6 seconds of a penalty, and I have won the race. Can I do it? We are just about to find out, or we are finding out right now. That's exactly what's happening. Down the hill, hitting that braking point nicely, hitting the apex nicely, and accelerating out. Perhaps could have accelerated a little bit earlier, but risk versus rewards. Over the line is going to be shy of a 1 second gap. Into the final corner. Is he going to go for that punt once again? The answer is no. Well, how about here? The answer is no once again. We may have survived, or he might be saving it up for a later corner. You just never know with these people what their ambitions are. He might go into the hairpin, which is arguably a better position. You can see just how close he is. There is the gap behind. He is within range of a punt, and he's trying to flash me. Look at that, flashing those headlights. Every little tactic, this guy knows it, and it's not going to faze me at all. I'm used to the pressure. I can deal with that kind of thing all day, any day. Through the hairpin, up the hill for the final time. Is he going to be able to catch up with F4H Super GT and overhaul him, or is he going to have to deal with second place, or worse? The Italian is right on him, and that could get worse for him if he doesn't get a move on. So then, just a couple of corners left to go. I think the Spaniard's running out of corners with which to try and deal with Super GT. I don't think he's going to have the chance here. Into the final corner. And I think, yes, there's no punt. I've got the job done. And we're going to win the race at long last. And just looking behind, the Spaniard's very wide and he's going to go down into third. The Italian just nipping in there to grab the second step of the podium at the final corner. Things got a little bit nasty in the chat because look at this. He called me a pig. Wow, that moment, guys, when you match a rammer. I mean, I essentially went tit for tat with him. I played him at his own game and I beat him. And somehow I'm a pig. Oh my god. That's some news. That's some news to me. But I felt, I mean, I'd like to know your opinion. I felt as though he initiated the first collisions, so I just matched him. I went, okay, if you're going to punt me wide, I'm going to punt you wide. And then he did it again, and then I did it back to him. So I only answered his calling. But there we go. I do hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I thought this was quite a good one, actually. I enjoyed making this one. I mean, I enjoyed making all of them. So do let me know your thoughts on this video. Subscribe if you'd like to see more. And do hit the like button if you enjoyed. I shall see you next time. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.